What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to the Verified AMA. I'm your host, Lawton Ho, here with Verified Investing, and I go live every single day. The markets are open from 12:30 to 1:15 to answer your questions. How's everybody doing today? We had Jerome Powell say some words, talk today, and it caused the markets to go higher. Initially, there was some selling going into it, a little bit of fear in the markets. But after he said, everyone's pretty much sure that there's going to be a rate cut in September. That's what we did expect, right? That was anticipated, right? However, it just confirmed it for them. So literally everything is up, right? Everything is up. Actually, something really interesting I just noticed. Let's hop into the charts really quick. And I'll keep yapping about my intro and stuff later. Look at this, guys. Look at this on Reddit. You see this, guys? Reddit was this just caught my attention. Reddit was all the way up 5% for the day, but is pulling back significantly. Wow, look at this. It did pull back. Look at this. 5% up and then fell like 4%. What a reversal signal on what a reversal here on Reddit. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, wow, this is intense. This is a lot. Damn. Let me take a look at this. RCL, wow, big selling came out of nowhere. Let me take a look at the rest of the markets, Rest of the markets also did fall. You saw the S&P pop up significantly, still up around 1.5% off of that. We can recap. Look, off of his talk, right? Was up, pulled back a bit, only 0.2%. But yeah, incredible. Anyways, guys. I got distracted for a moment. Thank you guys so much for being viewers. If you could, and I'd really appreciate it, thank you for joining me. But we just take a moment to say thank you, and we'd ask you to consider liking and subscribing to us on YouTube at Verified Investing. Additionally, guys, if you guys want to ask questions, okay, here's how you do it. You scan this QR code or visit the verifiedinvesting.com website, and you'll be able to ask your questions there. Okay, with that being said, what type of questions do you guys have for me? Sorry, I went off on a tangent. You see that stocks had a rough time, came all the way to 658. It's now in the 670s. Right, so a decent bounce, but still down around 9% today. Mike says, Lawton, hi Lawton, given markets are going to go up from here, where would short levels on RCL and Caterpillar be? Are they going to go up from here, or is this a fake up? Right? What is It really depends. Like for me, okay, on RCL, and I'll get into stocks and stuff in a bit. RCL did have this downward sideways consolidation, but did turn up, right? And you could even say this is kind of like a miniature small inverse head and shoulders pattern. Let's see that neckline, that beautiful neckline right there. Boom. And let's see that measured move. Boom. Look at this measured move. Now, it already surpassed it here on RCL. My level of resistance is this upsloping trend line here. So approximately 8 to 9% higher would be my new level to short this. I mean, you could also just take a different trend line. You could take like one from like this instead. Whatever you want to do. However, Do markets have to go higher? I mean, here's what we're. This is pretty much it. Like, we were favored to get a rate cut in September. This just confirms it. People were selling ahead of today because they're nervous in case we didn't get a rate cut, right? So this, I believe, is short-term bullish. Like, it's just sell the news. We're getting a rate cut. Cool. We're going to push up a little bit. But then once the rate cut happens, it's like, oh, that was expected. It should already be priced in. And then hopefully, potentially, it'll fall down. All right. See Caterpillar. What a great push up on Caterpillar, up 4% today. I had this beautiful upsloping trend line. It crushed that. For me, I'm looking at a couple places. I'm looking at double top, of course, 441 for resistance. And I have a couple of trend lines, and I'll go back and show you where I got those trend lines from. These couple pivots. I particularly like this one more than this one. High pivot, high pivot, high pivot. 3 hits already. That would be approximately 6% higher. That's currently my max upside for Caterpillar. But again, guys, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I'm wrong all the time. All I do is give you the probabilities and share a little insight into what I'm thinking when I'm looking at these charts. What says, does Powell's talk today change your thesis on stocks and your target? Less of a chance of a correction, more leaning towards higher highs? No, I still think we see over $9 on stocks. Absolutely, Keaton and Wes. Yep. I've just been maneuvering, working my average down over time, right? But yeah, I think $9 stocks is easily feasible. Jack says FML got stopped out of my Ethereum a few days ago, just barely, and now this, not a question, just a rant. No, it's all good. Listen, here's the thing. Like, you didn't know, right? There's no way you could know. For me, look at this. Ethereum head and shoulders pattern. And where did it pull back? 1, 2, this high pivot here is huge resistance on Ethereum. There's a head and shoulders pattern, but now it's trying to break up and above. Of course, really bullish. All of the alts are running right now. It's kind of crazy. You see Pengu is retracing to this neckline of the head and shoulders pattern, right? Basically retracing there to that neckline. Everything is running. Everything, is pushing up. You know, Bitcoin was below 112. So, but no, it's tough, right? It's tough to get stopped out of something and see it go the opposite direction. But here's something I want to emphasize, and I want to say, and maybe this will be a teachable moment. Let's do it. All right, sorry for going full screen. Sorry for the jump scare. But when we get into trades and we have a thesis, right? There's a reason we're getting in. And when we put our stop out level, that's to protect ourselves from downside. When you have situations like these in Ethereum that maybe you went long and you got stopped out because it went down to the neckline and whatever happened, right? Only for it to go higher, and you want to go back and you want to feel bad. Just know and just remember that for every one trade that you stop out of that rips, 12% higher the next day or two, right? For every time that happens, how many times would it go lower, right? How many trades would just keep dumping, keep collapsing, right? So yeah, it feels bad. Feels bad, Jack. I get it. I've been there. Feels bad when you get stopped out only for things to go the opposite direction, the way that you knew it was going to go that way. You knew it. Right? And you're like, dang, I shouldn't have put this stop loss. What am I doing? Or shouldn't have put it too close. At the end of the day, you didn't know this was going to happen. It could have easily done something different. Imagine if you didn't stop out. And then Jerome Powell said that he wasn't cutting rates. This would be down 12% instead. And you'd be so happy that you stopped out. As a trader, you don't care about these outliers, right? These outliers, you have to stick to a strong, consistent strategy. It's when you waver from that when the market crushes you, right? So I've been there, Jack. Sorry to hear that, but there's always another trade. Peggy says, Lawton, like your program. Thanks, Peggy. I like your questions. What smart money member would you first join in verified investing? Can you show on the chart why traders like to trade IQ and stocks using the trend line or a pattern? Absolutely. So if I was coming to verified investing and I just wanted a swing trade smart money, I would choose a program or a subscription rather. I would choose smart money stocks and ETFs. It's our most popular one. I'm in there. Ben, Drew, Gareth, we're all in there. So, but why do we like to trade IQ using trend lines? We like to trade everything using trend lines, to be honest. I don't particularly use trend lines on stocks. I just love trading stocks. I trade it every day. I traded it today, made around, how much did I make today? I made about $1,200 on stocks today. So I'm happy with that. But I trade something I trade every single day, and I didn't really use the trend line for that. I kind of used one. Look at this. Here's what I did with SOXX. I had a trend line like this. This through here like this. I don't know if you can see. SOXX. That's it. That's pretty much exactly where the SOXX pulled back. Pushed up to this trend line, then pulled back. Let me know if you have any other questions, Peggy. I'm happy to have you here. Paul says, hi, Lawton. What's up, Paul? Hope you're having a good day. You too. We recently had been monitoring a head and shoulders pattern on CCJ. Absolutely. Let's take a look. Yep. Beautiful head and shoulders pattern. Boom. Okay. And I'm wondering if this is now negated with the move of the last few days. Well, let's see if it's negated, right? First off, let's actually turn this into another teachable moment. Head and shoulders patterns, how can they be negated? For me, they can be negated basically in 3 different ways. One way, obvious, if the shoulder goes above the head, right? If the shoulder goes above the head at any point, I'm done with it. Not interested. Sorry. Number 2, the trade takes too long to play out. I don't think this is taking too long. And then number 3, the move played out, maybe not to the full measured move, but played out to some of it. Now, doesn't meet any of this criteria. A rule of thumb for me is that I look for at least a 50% of the way move on the head and shoulders pattern. Nope, didn't even get to, I guess it's around 25% of the measured move. Measured move is about a 13% measured move, and at its most, you came down 4%. So yeah, about 25%. Right? Nope. So to me, it's still valid as long as price does not go above this right here, this line, this head here. This is still valid. I would just treat it the same. It broke down, retraced above, gap back in. I'm looking for another break of this upsloping trend line. I still like it. All right. Con saying great analysis. What is the downside on stocks? Man, I know you're buying levels. I'm buying every every 25 cents. I think my average is like 7 in the like 760s somewhere. I don't really know right now. I'm not at my normal computer, but I'm buying like every 25 cents. The level is insane. Anywhere below $7, if your average is below $7, you're gonna make some serious money on stocks. Brucey says, I agree, Lawton. Sell the news. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Hey, Brucey, thank you so much. Shout out to you. Always coming in here with your great energy and your even better questions. Kenny says, what's your take on using futures for trading U.S. contracts for trading U.S. stocks, assuming the risks are well managed? Are there disadvantages compared to buying and selling the actual shares with the full dollar amount? I just prefer trading the regular stocks just because I can maneuver through them. Sometimes they pay a dividend. Yeah. Keaton says, can you please talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum dominance? What does that mean now? So if you see BTCD, Bitcoin, what's the ticker again? BTC.D. There it is. So I thought that it was going to break out, right, of this wedge. I thought this was going to break out. But the fact that this is falling, actually breaking this trend line really, really decently, means that the altcoins could begin running, right? I could see this coming down another to like 56%. And if it gets down there, the altcoins are going to absolutely rip. Okay. That's what I see. John says the markets are rocketing higher with all the small fade continues. What are the charts showing the main indices and where do you think it's heading into next week? We have a couple theories in the office, right? We just made new all-time highs briefly and pulled back. So all-time highs is what I was expecting for me. Here's my max upside, and I don't know that it would get there next week, but this is my max upside, this trend line, about 5 to 7% higher, right? Do I think that's going to happen? No, probably not. But you have to leave yourself open to all sorts of possibilities. You can say this is a trend line, previous all-time high to the all-time high. This would be resistance approximately 1% higher than the current trading price. But for me, I'm looking at these two trend lines as areas for a pullback. I think once people yes, this is bullish news, but I think once people eat up the news, people start selling into it afterwards. Hassan saying, given BJ's current technical setup and fundamentals, do you think it has stronger potential as a short-term day trade opportunity or a medium-term swing trade play? I'd like to so that earnings, they fell off of earnings, right? They try to bounce back, did bounce up about 3% before falling lower. Yeah, my level of support would have been this trend line, right? This pivot low right here. My next level of support on BJ's is probably here. You have a gap fill from January earlier this year. And you have another pivot low somewhere here. Let's see if we got a trend line. If I can pull up a trend line for you. Let's see here. It's kind of steep, huh? I mean, this is a really significant fall. Like pretty big fall for this company, 8% for BJ's. But for me, I'd be looking to enter maybe a longer term buying opportunity around $87, $83, around 10 to 15% lower from its current trading price. As far as a day trade is concerned, I'm not trading for the rest of the day. Day trading wise, there's no volatility. Let's check the volume on this. So decent volume. You got a nice volume spike here. But in general, I'm not going to trade this. If you want a day trading level, you can consider buying right here, 95.72. for a day trade only. So that means it has to be closed by the end of the day. If it comes down there, I'd anticipate a bounce potentially. You could also consider double bottom over here around this 96.63 level. It's going to be triple bottom, actually. That's where it bounced off last time. And you had a decent 1% bounce. Generally what I'd be looking for in a day trade anyways. Okay. David says, thanks for the great analysis, Lawton. Awesome. You're welcome. I see support on SOX, 648, and I buy at that level. Do you agree? Thanks. Yeah, anywhere above, to be honest, anywhere below $7, I'm buying it anyways. The level is absolutely ridiculous. Has had a nice push up. I do anticipate a pullback on this. Right, it would not surprise me if today it fell another 2% to like 660s levels, but I still absolutely adore these levels. They're absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. For me, 650 is going to be a huge level for SOX. Huge, huge, huge level. Renica says, hi, Lawton. Hello, Renica. How's it going? No questions, but I want to say I appreciate the dividend traders you're doing, and I appreciate how careful you are in your alerts to buy and sell. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, my trading style, it's not that flashy, right? It's not flashy or super, super exciting, right? I like to make jokes that Lawton in general, me in general, and my personality and the way that I talk to people and interact with people versus the way I am, in a trade when it comes to trading is like two polar opposites, right? It's like I have a secret twin because I'm like very erratic, sometimes emotional person. But when I'm in a trade, I'm super disciplined, super, super conservative, and very careful. But I appreciate that, Renica. Thanks for being part of the service. I'm glad you're enjoying those videos. Protecting your capital, my capital, our positions is the most important, is my number one priority. So Kean says, what's your view on UVXY? I'm long 1375, 8% on my account. Yeah, so the UVXY will go up when the markets pull back pretty much, right? And the markets did not pull back today. But I know that Gareth loves this for a trade. Absolutely loves this for a trade. And some of the other traders do too. This is not something that I personally trade too much. But if it makes you feel better, they're long in this, right? They're long in this, 100%. JP says, can you look at Solana? Absolutely. For a take profit level for this pump before price dumps again. Yeah, I can try, or I can certainly try. I'd be targeting. Here's a couple things that I'm looking at. I love this level. 10% higher around 216, right? Does it get there? I don't know. You have to get past this pivot and these levels. So you can take a picture of this and screenshot this and just plan your exit. Take some off here. Say take some off here and take some off here, right? I like to spread out my entries and my exits. Kind of maneuver through the trade, right? V says, hey, Lon, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well, V. Thanks for always being here. Thank you for asking your questions. I really appreciate it. Thanks to all of you guys for deciding to spend your Friday with me. Right, it's Friday lunchtime, right? The markets are usually more sleepy. I'm usually more sleepy. Yeah, I'd like to take this moment to just thank you guys so much. And if you enjoy this content, consider giving it a like and subscribing to us on YouTube. But yeah, Gareth, Ben, Drew, and I, we went to Brazilian Steakhouse last night. And it was pretty fun. It was a lot of food. I was so full. and the service was incredible. Just a local one in Tampa, but it was absolutely amazing. And I had a lot of meat, right? I was joking with the guys that it's one of the only times that I love being surrounded by a bunch of men with big sticks of meat they want to give me. V says, what's your thoughts on Circle and CoreWeave? Sure. So Circle, I shorted Circle from 280. I did cover my position before earnings. I covered it at like 250 or around 150-ish. And then on earnings, it popped. It dropped. My initial target on Circle was down here, this pivot low, around 132 gap fill. And it did fill that gap, pushing up higher today. In my opinion, I believe that Circle is going to fall to $60. Okay, that's my prediction, my crystal ball. For CoreWeave, I have a potential. I don't have quite a head and shoulders pattern just because this shoulder has no price data. But here's the thing with about all of these companies, right? With IPOs, you see this all the time. Massive move up, 450%, and then it always comes back down to earth. For me on CoreWeave, my downside target would be around here, around 65, 60. Be surprised if it got lower than that. Kenny says dividends get paid too if for stocks you buy using contracts. I mean, you can absolutely. I don't trade contracts as much, right? I know people in our trading room do, but as long as you manage your risk, I mean, you could do it, right? Essentially, your just profits would be a lot bigger. Derek says, welcome to the weekend. This is the Lawton Lunch Hour brought to you by Verified Investing and sponsored by the Bank of Ho, BOH, where small gains over time is what we do. Thanks for the introduction, Derek. I appreciate that. First thing, so find out the manufacturer of your house panel. Let me know. House panel, you mean my breaker panel? Yeah, I'll send you an email. Any day trades that you looked at today, see you next week in the room. Awesome. Yeah, I took a trade on stocks today. Day trade on stocks. I made about 2K on this. So my entry, I entered here around 671. And I was looking for about 7 cents, right? It gave 6 here, excuse me. And it gave me only 6 cents. Right, 7 cents would be a 1% move in my direction. It got 1 penny away from filling me, from giving me my exit. Right, really, really close. And then it fell. I added to the position down here at 661. Right, and then when it got to my break even at 667, I took half off the table. And I wish I told you I took 20 cents, but I took 8 cents. I raised my target and took 8 cents again instead. Or 7 cents. 7.74. Yeah. 7 cents instead. Ended up going a bit higher, 20 cents. But I banked a cool 2K on that, right? That's my strategy. I just take these consistent gains. People were asking me, right, Lawton, when are you going to get in? When are you going to get in? When are you going to get in? Because I normally get in a little earlier. But what did I know? I knew Jerome Powell was speaking around, his comments were going to come out at 10. And it's just like earnings, man. My strategy has such a high win rate, right? But in order for it to work, it's predicated on normal market conditions. This is not normal market conditions. So when this fell, people are like, get in. I said, people wanted me to get in here, 684. Gareth was asking me, why aren't you getting, like, get some skin in the game, 684. I said, no, I have to be patient. I will be patient. If I got in there, I would have ended up making some money on this, getting paid out anyways. But we stayed disciplined, stuck to our trading strategy, and ended up taking a nice gain on that. Okay, and then Garrett shorted the S&P today, and he made $640. All right, but yeah, Derek, I'll send you an email. I gotta look when I get home. But you're talking about my electrical panel, right? Taylor says if we think risk on assets / equities may pull back in the latest news. After the latest news is digested, what about silver, palladium, platinum, gold? Miners continue looking extremely bullish. So here's the thing, though. If risk on assets pull back, where's the capital going to rotate to? Where's the capital going to go? It's going to go to safe haven assets like gold and silver and palladium, platinum, right? So it makes sense. Taha says, thoughts on ENA, odds of a retrace to the 68. Let's do ENA. I'm assuming it's a crypto. Yep. So ENA. Tried this before. So what are the your question is odds of a retrace to the 68-cent demand level, looking for an entry. So we've had a nice push up, about 16% up today. You can see that over here as well off of all this positive news. It could retrace, but it really depends on what the other coins like Ethereum and Bitcoin is, right? Like we had this big news catalyst event that's like bullish. Everyone's like, okay, he's gonna cut rates, so this is gonna push up higher. The question is, how long can that momentum sustain this market? How long can it do that, right? Will we see a pullback this weekend? We could, right? On a lack of news and lack of volatility, yeah, potentially. But if you love this so much, I mean, 68 cents is about 6% lower, right? That's 60, a little bit lower. What you could do, Taha, is considering starting a small position here if you really like that level. You can just get in, start a small position, and you can add to the position, around 63 cents. Right? So you can go half as heavy as you normally would go at that 68 cents. And then you can put an add level at around 64 cents. So if you get filled there, your average would be around 68 cents. But just know that this is pretty volatile. We're not sure what's going to happen. Over the weekend with crypto, it's always kind of like a guessing game. Excuse me. But yeah, you can always do that. But make sure you play with a stop loss level, especially on something as volatile as ENA. Let's see what else we got here. Taylor, no, I got you ready. Derek says currently VIX for long, at least start accumulation. Yeah, we're bullish here at Verified Investing on the VIX. Garrett's in it, Drew's in it, Ben's in it. Keaton says, why is the DXY, the dollar, okay, dropping bad for the year? I can trade. Is that risky? I'll be honest with you. I'm not too well versed in this one, especially when it comes to like the currencies and the dollar and how that affects everything and yields and all of that, right? It'd be easy for me to make up something or Google something, but I'm just going to be real with you. I'm not the most experienced in this area, so I don't want to give you any bad information, Keaton. I hope you can understand. Right. But if you want, Keaton, I can reach out to one of the other traders. He knows a little bit more about this. Get a little educated myself and get back to you with an answer. Right. I just know that I just think it would be irresponsible for me to give you an answer right now, considering it's probably going to be a bad answer. You're welcome, JP. Derek says, yes, the panel where the breakers are, the manufacturer will be labeled quite easily. All right, I'll send it to you. Jeff says, how do you notify members in Smart Money Stocks? Is it live, text, or email? You'll get a phone app notification, just like I just got like a message on my phone, like a little whatever thing. You'll get that as well. Additionally, you'll get an email, right? So two methods: email and a notification, phone notification on. Okay, you're welcome, Jeff. Frank says, hey, Lon, thanks for the content. Awesome. Thanks for your question, Frank. Long-term investor on SoFi and up a lot over the past few weeks. Congratulations to you, Frank. Time to take profit or hold. So here's the thing, right? SoFi is pushing higher. Could it go higher realistically? For me, the max upside is like double top, right? But what you could do, Jeff, or Frank, excuse me, sorry for confusing your name. And you just crushed this gap fill. What I would do, right? And you're free to do whatever you want. This is not financial advice. This is just what Lawton would do. And just remember, I'm just a guy. I like that double top level, and with the way markets are going, it wouldn't be outlandish to expect SoFi to push to new all-time highs. That doesn't mean I'm going to start a position here, but what that does mean is that I would start to scale out, right? Let's say I'll take some of my position, a third of the position off here, and then I'll take a third off at this all-time high, and then I'll let the rest run, right? And if it comes back, I can always buy the dip. I keep hiccuping. Oof. I can always just come back and buy the dip, right? But you can protect yourself, lock in some of those gains, and slowly scale out, right? That's the best of both worlds. Because if it keeps going up, awesome. You still have capital in. If it comes down, at least you took some off the table for a profit, right? And then you can add and work through it, or just take the rest off the table, whatever you're comfortable with. The thing that matters the most is, like, do you need that capital right now? Like, if you took money out of SoFi right now, what would you do with it? Would you, what would you do with that money? If you need that money now for another trade or anything, yeah, take it off. But you can take some off now and slowly scale out. Or you can put a trailing stop. And what a trailing stop is you can put a stop out, somewhere in the money, and as price continues to move up, say price is here, that green, as price moves up, you can slowly, let's say price is going like this, you can slowly move your stop out. So when you finally do get that pullback, you can lock in those gains and make sure to protect your wins. But congratulations to you, Frank. Great trade. Keaton says, thank you, Lon, as always. Thank you, Keaton, as always. Nathan says, what do the charts say about Tesla today? That's a great question for me on Tesla. I have this beautiful down sloping trend line. And I had the previous wedge pattern, right? I had a wedge pattern before, but I have another wedge pattern. Would you believe it? I would believe it. It's my charts, so I have to, right? This wedge has to be perfect, or my brain might explode. Okay, there you go. Awesome. Two hits. I like it. For me, and I had the wedge on Tesla before, but it's kind of broken out and retraced and all that stuff. If Tesla can break up and above this wedge, I'm looking for a move at least 16 to 19% higher. I just need to see what it does along this trend line. Okay. Tom says, so Lawton doesn't show his trade. What do you mean, Tom? I can. What do you want to see my trades from the day trading room, or what would you like to see? I'd be happy to show you my trades. Sam says, "Hey, what are your thoughts on Chipotle Mexican Grill and IWM?" So Chipotle Mexican Grill, I had this beautiful downsloping trend line that I expected to bounce off of, and it did bounce off. Had a nice push up. I'm looking for resistance around $47. I think it could get there easily, a push higher. As far as the IWM, the Russell, had a nice move up. Of course, it did. But look, it's still lagging behind the S&P. S&P made new all-time highs today. So realistically, the IWM could catch up, just like Ethereum did to Bitcoin. Would not surprise me if it caught up and did make new all-time highs. Right. Ben, David says, when or will there be any room in the AI service? The AI service is live now, actually. I can show you a little bit I can show you what it did today. Let's see its performance, huh? But yeah, it's live right now for purchase. We took 3 trades on the AI today. And the stocks won, 3 wins and a loss. Nothing in crypto. It's literally live right now. Let me see if I can show you. Live right now. We're pretty much break even for the day. It was a very, very volatile day, but we're about break even today on the AI right now. And there's a whole watch list, but it's available for sale right now. If you go to verifiedinvesting.com, go down here and click on verified AI algo and trading. You can get the stocks, crypto, or both. And we can take a look at the history. See how they performed. Like, look at this. Crypto has been absolutely insane. I know that there are no trades today on crypto, but look at these win rates and P&L. Pretty great. But yeah, Tom, what do you mean by I don't show my trades? I'd be happy to share my trades if you want. David says, by the way, is Doc B on vacation? So yeah, if you're not in the live day trading room, I guess you wouldn't have known. Dr. B is stepping away to only do courses now. He's only doing courses. He's opened up like a medical consulting business, but he's only going to be doing courses now. But I'm going to see him in like a couple days, right? In a couple days to go play pickleball with him, I think on Sunday. And he asked me to take his chair to him. Let me show you this chair. Okay, hold on. It's literally right here. It's this little chair. I don't know if you can see it. Let me lift it. This chair, and this is probably the most uncomfortable thing that's ever been created on the entire planet. And he sits in this, and it's like so uncomfortable. Oh my gosh. I feel like it's like riding a horse, but you want to die. Right. It's that uncomfortable. Tom says, okay, so you show your live trades in the live day trading room? Yeah, I do. Here, I'll show you. I'll share my charts. I'll show my charts with you. Happy to do that. So this is the live day trading room. This is, you can see our trades for past 30 days. You can see yesterday. If you want to learn more about the live day trading room, you can scan the QR code down below. But yeah, yesterday made $11,000 and Gareth made 38. Actually, I think this is outdated. Okay. For the last 30 days, unfortunately, Ben is beating me out barely, but we're pretty close. Gareth is, of course, smoking us. For the last 7 days, Gareth's made 43K. I've made, roughly 12,000. In the last week, we haven't taken a loser. Knock on wood. Today's trade, you saw I made $1,200. Gareth made $640. Yesterday, I was the only one that took a trade. Took another 1K on stocks, and I traded all the time. Let's go to the previous quarter. You can see our statistics for last quarter. And you can take our statistics for this quarter over here. And something cool to look at if you're really interested. If you want to see my trades in live day trading room, I trade a couple different things, right? A couple different stocks, right? But mostly I trade a stock called SOXS, right? So if you go here and you go to complete track record and you just control F, SOXS, you can see every single one of my stocks trades. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. And my win rate is somewhere like in the 95% on this stock. 77 trades on SOXS this year, it looks like. As far as SOXL, 55 trades on SOXL this year, right? So, anyways, if you want to know more about that, please let me know. I'd be happy to do that. Jeanette says, speaking of Dr. B, please smash the ball at him when playing pickleball. You have to dominate him. I will, Jeanette, I promise. Jack says, thanks for showing up each day and giving us your time and energy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming in day out and asking me questions. I really appreciate that. You're welcome, Tom. Hopefully that was helpful to you. If you want to know more, I'd be happy to tell you. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. I gotta get out of here. It's Friday. Once final time, if you guys enjoy this content, please consider giving us a like and subscription on YouTube. It really helps the algorithm, helps YouTube know that you like this, helps my overlords like Gareth know that you like this content from me. If you have any additional questions, guys, you can always send them to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Lawton Investing. Just my name, Lawton, followed by the word investing. You can send me a DM, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay? With that being said, guys, have a blessed and wonderful weekend. Make sure to stay safe out there, and I hope to see you all Monday. Same time, same place. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.